We are going to be talking about tennis in the second part as well, which is going to be a great little addition to this show. And you do not want to miss out on these great news for the next hour. And Dane and myself is going to give you all the up-to-date news when it comes to the world in those sports. And just to give you guys a quick reminder, we have a show Monday live from 6 to 7 on Eagle 95.1, then 7 to 8 is recorded and then put on later. And as Wednesdays, we're here for the famous In the Pocket segment, along with talking additional sports. We talk basketball, sometimes baseball and local hockey sometimes, but that's mostly geared towards the Thursday show that I'll get to in a moment. So it's usually football, basketball, it's WWE, sometimes it's tennis, it's going to be golf, it's going to be a little round table discussion where Wednesdays we kind of take the chains off and we have a little free-for-all segment and we talk about the hot topics in the world of sports here at Sportscenter, where we record at 9:30 p.m. until approximately 10:30, 11, depending on the amount of time that we have on the show here on the game. But tomorrow, Thursdays, we are live at Boston Pizza at 9:30 again as well, and we are there till 10:30 as well, where we're there for their half-price apps, their $4 bar rails. They have deals when the Game Sports Show is there and throughout after 9 p.m. on weekdays, and they got those Molson products on tap there as well, as Boston Pizza is another home to the Game Sports Show, where we talk about hockey locally and professionally, and we also going to be talking about baseball when baseball season picks up as well in the summer, with a little bit of off-season hockey at that time as well. And hey, the Game Sports Show going on 3 times a week. Like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday is a lot going on. Our website is going to be launched this week, www.thegamesportshow.com. We're going to have a YouTube channel linked to that website. We have an email now where you can submit your answers for our trivia questions that we do on Thursdays. And the Game Sports Show just evolving, just so you can have all the possibilities to hear all the episodes. And hey, that's just good for you out there, being the listeners and fans of the Game Sports Show, where myself, Scott, Dane, Justin, and the whole crew, thank you for being loyal listeners as well. And we've had quite the big week. You know, we had some guests on the Monday show, and it's just myself and Dane here tonight for the In the Pocket segment and the additional sports talk. But tomorrow we got one hell of a show planned with Paul Maurice coming on by the Game Sports Show and Joe Bowen as well. It's going to be a great show as well that you most certainly do not want to miss. Dane, just in the nick of time, you and I are going to be talking a little bit of In the Pocket. It's you and me tonight. Jamie gets a vacation day. Dustin is on paternity leave, as I like to say. And we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. And I just told everyone out there that we got quite the exciting Super Bowl and quite the show planned here tonight. So what do you say you and I jump in and talk about the In the Pocket segment between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots Super Bowl game this Sunday?
Yeah, it's another Super Bowl with Tom and the boys in it. Should be interesting to see. I think the Eagles definitely have a shot there. Nick Foles, lit up one of the best defenses in the whole NFL there. So, yeah, it's you got to think that the Patriots obviously have the advantage. Been there so many times. But yeah, you know what? I'm not counting out the Eagles. I know everybody thinks the Patriots have it in the bag, but Eli Manning's beat Tom Brady twice. Why can't Nick Foles?
I agree with that. On the game on Monday that you can also hear on our webpage, and that's uploaded this week, you can hear on snason.podomatic.com as well, and you're also going to be able to hear it on YouTube. We're just going to be able to hear us all over the place. I predicted the Eagles to win 28-14. I went to that route, really kind of going against my gut there, as I think everybody knows who is, let's say, the favorite going to win if I'm a betting man at the Brady Bowl. But I believe in the Eagles. I feel that Nick Foles is riding a high that he's not experienced before. This guy had 7 touchdowns before in the game. He's not a joke of a backup quarterback at all. He's performing better than Blake Bortles did, even though Blake Bortles made the NFC Championship and defeated my Pittsburgh Steelers to get there. But at the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles cannot be underestimated in this game. I feel that their defense can shut down Tom Brady, believe it or not. But if the Eagles have a lead in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, and it's by a touchdown, the Patriots are probably going to win that game. That's as a Falcons fan, how that feels, have a lead against Tom Brady going into the third and fourth quarters.
Yeah, well, we've seen it time and time again. Brady did it against the Jags last week, another really awesome defense. So, obviously he has the ability to do it against the Eagles. I think the keys of the game, the Eagles got to get to, the D-line has to get to Tom Brady, put him on the ground early. you know what? Blake Bortles had the game of his life. They still didn't win. But I think Nick Foles is a little bit more of a veteran quarterback, and he has proven in his past career that he has been able to, put up, a lot of touchdowns and be able to, control a defensive system there. And so yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be pretty close. And like I said, it's hard to bet against the Patriots. I am picking the Patriots to win. Yeah, I predict the final score is going to be, I'm going to go 28-24 Patriots.
Calling it tight. EA Sports, a company that we've talked about a lot on the show in general, especially on Thursdays, and we push it against NHL more so, but they had a simulation game that I said live on Monday that the Patriots won the Super Bowl 24-20. And you know how they won that game? EA predicted a fourth quarter comeback from the New England Patriots. And I tell you right now, that is freaky in itself from seeing, because that is probably the likelihood that is going to happen. And for the Super Bowl, for Tom Brady to be defeated, I feel, and I say it time and time again, I think the short game, the slants, not the deep ball. Nick Foles can throw the deep ball. He showed that against Minnesota. But I feel the short balls, the slants, and the running. If Jair comes out and plays like everyone predicted that he was going to be a top 5 running back this year, he might be a turning point in that game as well. Brady has Gronkowski back. Maybe that's a disadvantage to Brady. I know everyone's like, oh, Gronk is one of the best tight, if not the best tight end, but he played better without Gronk there last game. There's a lot of underlying factors people got to predict, but you can't underestimate Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the GOAT, as everyone said. The guy is on the NFL Madden cover. No one's ever won the Super Bowl after being on the NFL Madden cover. You can possibly break this Madden curse. And like he did that commercial breaking glass and walking on a ladder, Tom Brady has the gauntlet on his hand right now with Super Bowl rings, and he's got another finger stitched on because he's prepared for his 6th ring. But you can beat him. He is beatable. Eli beat him. And I think, watch those tapes. You know what? I remember looking back at those games, except that deep throw by the Giants to win one of the Super Bowls. That happened at the end. But for the majority of the game, it was smart football that defeated the Patriots.
Well, yeah, and you're right, bang on that. What the Eagles have to do, I know Nick Foles, he can air out the ball pretty good. But yeah, those short passes, gain 5 yards, another 5 yards, get those runs going, run some clock. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars and Blake Bortles did a really good job at, just getting those small, yardage gains there with, those little short passes there, the slants and all that. And you know what? They kept Brady off the field for a lot of the game there. They, really controlled the possession of play, and I think that's, the best way to beat Tom Brady. The defense has to stop them before, the middle of the field, because it seems like when Tom Brady gets past that 50-yard line, he's going to the end zone, and I've never seen a guy be able to work the red zone like Tom Brady. I know, the Falcons have always struggled in the red zone. Matt Ryan, when it gets, that tight kind of part of the field there where there's a little bit less room, the Falcons have always struggled. But Tom Brady and just the play calls that Bill Belichick comes up with, they always see him when they're, inside the 10. It's they're generally not kicking the ball there. It's going for a touchdown. So they can kind of, keep them at least out of the red zone and force them to maybe kick some more field goals rather than going for the touchdowns. I think that'll be big. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting matchup. But you know what? The Eagles definitely have the defense. They totally shut down the Vikings, the week before that. So yeah, they definitely got a chance. I think they're riding on a high. I think, the last 2 games the Eagles played, they were underdogs against, the Falcons and the Vikings, and I think they got a bit of a chip on their shoulder. And you know what? They're obviously going to be underdogs again, playing against the Patriots. And so, I think they're riding high, so to speak. They're flying high, the Eagles. So I think they definitely got a really good chance. But 28-24 Patriots. I can't pick against the Patriots.
See, the Super Bowl is always most watched. Everyone likes watching the commercials, the halftime show. I remember when Coldplay was at the halftime show when it was Carolina and Denver there the one time, and obviously Beyonce and Bruno Mars kind of took over that concert. But there's somebody else who's coming back to the Super Bowl halftime show, Justin Timberlake. And everyone's wondering, is Janet Jackson going to come out? I remember saying this to you a couple weeks ago. Is she going to potentially come back out and kind of almost reenact or make a little joke out of it to kind of close the chapter on that, as we like to call the boob slip? That's just flat out what it was. Him being at the Super Bowl is going to be a great show. He's a great performer. That is something to also be watched when it comes to Super Bowl. It's really heavily watched. And like I said, we're going to have a Super Bowl party here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. There's also a Super Bowl party at Boston Pizza where their door prize is a pizza, and there's cover there as well. And there's a lot of good Super Bowl parties going on in town that you certainly want to check out. But getting into the game, I feel that whoever is able to beat Brady, and I'm looking at Eli Manning, it was a smart football, so I'm excited to see how that works out. If Nick Foles can outsmart Tom Brady. I feel like I am absolutely silly saying that right now.
Well, it doesn't need to outsmart Tom Brady. He's playing against the defense. He needs to outsmart Bill Belichick, and I don't think too many people have been too successful at doing that. But that being said, like I said, keep it simple, right? I don't think, don't get too tricky or anything like that. Maybe throw a flea flicker in there like they did against the Vikings there, which was
crazy. That was crazy.
Which was ridiculous. Maybe catch them off guard, but I think there's so much game footage that they can look on. What happened to the Seahawks, what happened to the Falcons, that kind of thing. And I think maybe use that stuff to mitigate an issue with being in the fourth quarter against Tom Brady and being down by a touchdown. So. Can't let the nerves get to them. And like you were saying, in fourth quarter, if they're down by 4 or 6 points and Brady has the ball with 2 minutes left to go, yeah, you're gonna start panicking because he's done it. It's just what Tom Brady does, right? Fourth quarter comebacks when it means the most. So should be an interesting game. We're really looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be close. But yeah, we'll see if Nick Foles, wouldn't that be a story coming back to the Eagles, playing in the playoffs there in a couple regular season games and winning them a Super Bowl. And if there's any city that, really, really wants it, I think it's Philadelphia. They've had a lot of heartbreak, just especially when it comes to football. And
they lost against New England in 2004 in the Super Bowl as well. And I got to tell Philadelphia fans, win or lose, please don't destroy your city. Oh my. It went off absolutely after a win against the Vikings and greasing poles and climbing poles and fires. I understand if you lose, it's upsetting. Just ask the Vancouver Canuck fans of the National Hockey League. But when it comes to winning, just celebrate in terms of, a couple fist pumps and some beers and maybe some Jack Daniels. Something else instead of breaking your, I'll say, beautiful city. But nonetheless, the Eagles are going to be working hard, and I think they have a chance to defeat the New England Patriots. Call me crazy, but I think I do sound a little bit correct when I say they do have a chance. But Nick Foles is going to be a guy who might not even be a starter next year. Here's a guy who might win the Super Bowl, and he's not starting over Carson Wentz. Is this trade bait? Does he go into free to decline his option, let him go? Could be a backup quarterback next year for the Eagles if he wins the Super Bowl this year. And that would be something.
I think he was on the verge of retiring, and I kind of watched an interview. I think it was the game before they were playing the Falcons, and really wasn't sure if he was going to come back or not. And the Eagles contacted him, and his wife had a discussion, and and he went back, and look at what's happened. So he couldn't really ask to be in any better position. I don't think he ever thought he'd be in a position like this to be playing in the Super Bowl, starting for the Eagles right now due to the fact that Carson Wentz got injured. So yeah, for him, go make the most of it. I know what, I don't think the nerves are going to be too big for him. I think he's settled in real well. I know at the start of the Falcons game he was a little bit nervous, had a couple overthrown passes, a couple underthrown ones, but settled in, and he totally ripped apart the Vikings defense the other week. And you know what? The Patriots don't have a great defense. So you know what? You're not going to outscore Tom Brady, but with the defense Philly has, I think a lot of people are saying, the Patriots have it. There's no chance. I think the Eagles have a lot better chance than most people think. But, there's always that Tom Brady legacy there that, kind of comes in the way. And
he throws the ball to Amendola, or he has Edelman, who's out right now. But you have Gronk, you have Amendola, you have Lewis. He has the ball to give to. He has a lot of options. He does. And he's not afraid to run up the field 5-10 yards either. And he can take a tackle. And people are bugging him to retire. And he asked the media today, he said, why is everyone telling me to retire? I know why everyone's telling him to retire, because everyone's sick and tired of him winning the Super Bowl. Sick and tired of him getting another Super Bowl. We want him and Bill to retire, so maybe give somebody else a chance. I'd like to see the Steelers win one more time. Well, Big Ben's there. I'm sure you'd like to see your Falcons win. I'm sure Dustin would like to see the Saints win, just like Antonello would love to see the Buccaneers win. That's why I want you retired, Tom, because you're too good. And I say I dislike. We don't like to use the H word on the show with hate, but I almost borderline hate the Patriots because they're as good as they are and they win. But I mean that in respect. And I certainly hope that Nick Foles goes out there and makes this a great game and even wins. And from a professional standpoint, we don't want to pick winners and we don't want to talk bad about other teams, but I just really dislike how the Patriots win a lot. I would love to see a new winner for sure. And you know what? This is going to be the last time that Bill Belichick's going to be coaching with McDaniels and Patricia. You got those guys moving on this year. Obviously, you got McDaniels going to go to the Colts. You're going to have Patricia probably going to the Lions. Everything's basically been announced this week. So they have the coaching staff. They have the team. That's why everyone wants Tom to retire, so this Patriots committee do a quick rebuild and let some other teams win. But jokes aside, going to be a great game all in all, and definitely excited. I'm looking forward to this Sunday. You must be too.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody loves the Super Bowl. Everybody waits for that one day of the year, and whether your team's in it or not, everybody still tunes in to watch the Super Bowl. And I'd love to see the Eagles beat the Patriots. I think, like you said, everybody's sick of seeing Tom and Bill win. But that being said, I heard that Tom wants to play till he's 45, so it doesn't look like they're going away anytime soon.
Pat McCaffrey from Barstool Sports said that the Patriots going to absolutely destroy the Philadelphia Eagles in a video today. I actually want to go against him and say I don't think they're going to destroy them. If the Patriots do win, it's going to be, let me tell you, a close victory. But I'm kind of liking the Eagles. My gut's going with the Eagles. Quick point, moving on from the Super Bowl, Alex Smith gets traded to the Washington Redskins. What? Wow. Someone named Kirk Cousins is still technically with the Redskins. He has a last year available for a tag that might be a little bit pricey for the Skins. I know Cousins has been tied to the Steelers, but Big Ben said he's coming back. So I don't know where Kirk Cousins is going to go. Maybe the Jaguars. Maybe he goes to the Bills. Maybe he goes to nowhere and stays in Washington. I was surprised to see the Chiefs move Alex Smith. Maybe they go after Kirk Cousins. I don't know. The free agency pool this year is pretty good, but him getting traded from the Chiefs, kind of simple. He had a great start to the season, then dwindled off, just like the Chiefs did. Hunt had a great year. Hill had a decent year until he fell off in the second half. Are you surprised that Smith got traded?
Oh, yeah, I'm a little shocked. I'm surprised he got traded to the Redskins. The Skins gave up a lot for a guy that I think has, I think Alex Smith is definitely a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins is a couple years younger and has a little bit more of his career ahead of him. I think with that happening, you got to think that Kirk Cousins is definitely going to be dealt. I know a lot of Bills fans are a little sour that, the Bills didn't go after Alex Smith. What's one thing the Bills really need right now as a quarterback? Tyrod Taylor, I think he's a good quarterback, but he's not the guy that's going to win you playoff games. I think Alex Smith is proven to be, a top-tier quarterback in the NFL. But yeah, no, Kirk Cousins, they definitely got to deal him. I think it's an awkward situation in Washington right now, and I know a lot of guys in Washington love Kirk Cousins. When RG3 left, they were kind of hoping he'd be, the quarterback of the future. But yeah, it definitely seems like Kirk Cousins is going to be dealt. I'd like to see him go to the Bills. I know everybody that from Canada, they might have a team, but everybody wants the Bills to do good. It's been so long, and it was nice to see him in a playoff game this year. And I think it only makes sense for the Bills to go after Kirk Cousins. They obviously have the team offensively and defensively. I think they're just missing a quarterback, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think the Skins gave up a boatload of money for Alex Smith that you got to think is going to start declining in the next year or two. He's getting up there in age. I can't remember what year he got drafted in, but it was a long time ago, 2004 or 2005 or something. He was in the same draft year as Aaron Rodgers, so he's not overly too old. But yeah, it was definitely a shocking trade for sure.
Alex Smith, 33 years of age. Not young. Maybe if you look at him in terms of being Tom Brady. But, Alex Smith is a guy who's been around quite some time. Definitely people like to call him a professor of the game, where he was a 2005 draft, round 1, first overall pick by the San Francisco 49ers. And let me tell you, Alex Smith Going to Washington definitely creates an awkward situation in there, and I wonder what they're going to do with Cousins. I wonder if they're going to try to flip Smith for something else. I doubt it for what they gave up for it at the end of the day. But I heard a ridiculous rumor even that Cousins, imagine him on the Browns, trading that first overall pick maybe to Washington for Kirk Cousins. A lot of things kind of surfacing when it comes to Kirk Cousins getting moved, and kind of silly to think that the Skins would do that because I'm a fan of Kirk Cousins. And if Big Ben doesn't come back to the Steelers, I hope he goes to the black and yellow.
Well, it only makes sense if they can get him to Cleveland for a first-round pick. I think Cleveland has the 1 in 5 pick in the draft this year. I can't see them trading him the first overall pick, obviously. They need that. Not that they have a great track record of drafting in the first round, so, how valuable is that pick to the Cleveland organization, right? So, yeah, no, Kirk Cousins is definitely going to be dealt. You know what? I think it might make the Washington fans that are losing their mind right now with the situation that's happened feel a little bit better if they can really get something for Kirk Cousins, especially if they can get a top 10 pick for him or something. And there is teams that, need a quarterback. Definitely the Cleveland and Buffalo, you got to think, are the two biggest. I don't think they're going to trade him to Jacksonville. I think with what Blake Bortles did, I think they're still, have a little bit of faith in Blake Bortles. He did get him to the AFC Championship. So
is he ripping SIGs and what's the other one? Ripping SIGs and working construction.
I'm working construction. Yeah. Well, never know if Kirk Cousins does go there. That might be have to be his second career option there. So yeah.
For sure, definitely going to be an exciting offseason for all teams, and definitely something you don't want to miss. And Cleveland Cavaliers. Wow, I'm talking basketball already, and it's an In the Pocket segment. Cleveland Browns have had a perfect season, but in the wrong way. 0-16 this year for those lonely Cleveland Browns. The only bright spot is named Josh Gordon. And Kaiser is a young guy, but Josh Gordon would not mind an arm for him to throw the ball deep down the field. And they have a lot of young and upcoming guys in the first overall pick. Maybe the Browns can try to go the up way and maybe try to win 4 or 5 games this year if they can have an active off season. Well, Dane, just myself and you here tonight. We're live here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. That was the In the Pocket segment. We're going to take a break. But before we take a break, I want to give a special shout out. I was going to say this in the beginning of the show, but I'm going to save it for this part before we go to break. I'm an employee, as you know, for a particular media company. So people are going to wonder why I'm promoting this. But Bell Let's Talk Day. Big day, January 31st, Bell Let's Talk. Hopefully everybody today was able to send their texts, their Facebook messages, their Snapchats, their Instagram posts, their everything. Bell Let's Talk donated 5 cents per those posts. And let me tell you, they had a lot of great numbers this year. And it's still not over here. We still got some time for the Bell Let's Talk. So for tonight, obviously when majority of you hear the show, Bell Let's Talk will be over. But hopefully you got your tweets out there, you got your posts and everything, and your texts all sent out there just because. Hopefully you sent that one person that you haven't talked to in a while, said, hey, what's going on? How have you been? Or love you, bro. Or just even have a basic conversation. Heck, even message your ex-girlfriend if you want, just to say that, hi. I don't know, do something. Just to get that 5 cents out there goes towards a great cause. Bell Let's Talk. I saw a lot of great inspirational posts, and as everyone saw mine, Bell Let's Talk, I'm very happy it's in existence. It's been a tremendous effect on my life in ways that most of my friends know, and I'm very happy that they have the organization to offer. And let me tell you, your voices and your fears can be faced. There's somebody that has a hand reaching out to you to simply reach out your hand and talk everything out. Mental health awareness is extremely huge in today's generation and has to be dealt with, and you shouldn't deal with it alone. Doesn't matter if you can't face your friends with it. Reach out to somebody. Reach out to an organization like Bell. Reach out to particular individuals that can help you. If it's family, or if it's just a doctor, if it's just a random individual that is willing to hear you speak. And it doesn't matter what situation you're in, if you're a wealthy individual or if you're not a wealthy individual, if you're somebody who is unfortunate or fortunate. It does not matter what your situation is. It is a mindset, and it's something that is a battle that could be done. People feel like it can't be done alone. It can be, but it's not recommended. Definitely reach out to somebody and let your voice be heard, and let your situation be resolved by getting the help that you need, and also dealing with the situation by gaining that strength to fight against mental health awareness. So Bell Let's Talk, the hashtag Bell Let's Talk, definitely a great day to be tweeting, talking, posting, just because. And like I said, do not be shy to reach out, as the Bell Let's Talk day is a very important day marked on my calendar, as it should be marked on yours and throughout Canada. So Dane, you and I are going to take a break here. We're live here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill for their famous Wednesday 75-cent wing night, and the Monday And they also have a Super Bowl party. The big game being played here Sunday. No cover. They got a TV. They got Molson Products. Going to have food. It's going to be a big party here to watch the Eagles and Patriots on Sunday. Boston Pizza also has the party as well. You can certainly look into that. And we'll be talking more about that on the show tomorrow night from Boston Pizza. Dave and I are going to sip on these Molson Products. Enjoy the za. Enjoy some wings. And we're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear from our sponsors. When we come back, Dave and I are going to be talking basketball. We're going to be talking tennis. We're going to be talking WWE. We're going to talk a little bit of UFC. And we're going to even give you a little taste of baseball. People want us to talk a little bit more baseball, as Thursday's been really geared towards hockey. And let me tell you, tomorrow is going to be really geared towards hockey. So we want to get some more baseball in there for you tonight. And you don't want to miss any more of that, as we've got some exciting news and updates in those world of sports for our fun little roundtable discussion between Dane and myself. We'll be right back after these messages. The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsioux.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today. And welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly here again, David McCaig, alongside right now just Dane Hantro. As you heard in our previous segment there, the famous In the Pocket segment. It was just Dane and myself talking the In the Pocket segment with the New England Patriots against the Philadelphia Eagles. And we had a lot to talk about there for leading up to the Super Bowl this week. Big game. And we're going to talk a little bit of basketball in this segment. We're going to talk about the Raptors. We're going to talk about the All-Star game. And we're even going to touch on a little bit of tennis. Someone named Roger Federer. He's the GOAT. Don't you think, Dane?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people think Tom Brady's the GOAT, but Roger Federer, I think, is probably the GOAT of all sports right now anyways. 20 Grand Slam titles, that's pretty impressive, especially with, the competition that he has with Nadal and Djokovic and all those big guys there. So, yeah, and, at his age right now, I think he's getting pretty close to 40. I'm not exactly sure what age he is, 35 at least. But, yeah, that's very awesome for him to be able to accomplish something like that.
For sure. We're going to touch a little bit more on the tennis side of things, and we might get into some bonus topics. Maybe I'm going to talk a little bit about baseball, because I know baseball is more on our Thursday show, but I'll give it a little talk about that, about the Jays' recent sign, as our show tomorrow at Boston Pizza is completely invaded with hockey. As I do have a big show tomorrow at Boston Pizza, I still might touch on a little bit of baseball here today. This is called the Chains Off Random segment here, where we kind of touch on a lot of things. And I'm going to start off with basketball, and I'm going to jump in and spearhead this and talk about the Raptors right now. They're 34-15. A game back of the Celtics, and they're 5 games ahead of the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. The Raptors are 34-15 for second in the Eastern Conference, as the Cleveland Cavaliers are 29-20. The Boston Celtics, though, in first place in the East, the 36-15 record. Those Celtics are looking pretty darn impressive, and don't count out those Cavaliers. They have somebody named LeBron James on there, and let me tell you, hey, this guy is the best basketball player still in the NBA, so you can't watch and underestimate the Cavaliers. And look at those Miami Heat in 4th place, as the Wizards round up 5th. Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks in 6th, with the Pacers and Sixers round up the 7th and 8th spot. Obviously, the Sixers are trusting the process, but the Detroit Pistons making a massive trade this week with getting Blake Griffin from the LA Clippers. Maybe a surprising trade, as the Detroit Pistons are out of a playoff spot for now, anyways. But when you get somebody like Blake Griffin in your lineup, it really alters the culture there in Detroit. Great pickup for Detroit for a fan base that's wanting that competitive team back. But can Blake Griffin do it himself? It's going to remain to be seen. Dane, what do you think?
Yeah, big trade. I just kind of want to speak about the Blake Griffin trade and LeBron James' comments on talking about how, it's a two-way street with, when a player leaves a team and all the fans are against him, but how's that any different than when management trades a guy, kind of giving up on that guy. But that being said, I don't think, Blake Griffin, when he's a free agent, is not going to have a show called The Decision and, be on national TV and decide what team you're going to. So when LeBron says that, I think it's a little bit different in his scenario. I think, he definitely broke the hearts of the Cleveland fans and the way he did it with, broadcasting, thinking he's all that and stuff. So, yeah, no, definitely big things happen in the NBA. Toronto Raptors, it seems like the gap's closing in the East. I think the boys might have a chance this year. Cleveland's, maybe not going to go back to the championship against Golden State this year. It looks like the Celtics are the better team. Even the Raptors are the better team. And it's nice to see DeMar DeRozan and Dwayne Casey being able to represent the Raptors at the All-Star game this year.
Absolutely, and you got Kyle Lowry there as well, too. You can't forget, third time in a row he's been there. And just round up the Western Conference before we jump back to the Raptors, obviously got Golden State with first in the Western Conference, the 40-11 record. You got Houston Rockets in second. You got San Antonio Spurs in third. The Minnesota Timberwolves. I like the Minnesota Timberwolves team. They're in fourth place. The Thunder are in fifth. The Portland Trailblazers in sixth. And the Pelicans in seventh with the Nuggets in eighth. And surprisingly, the Clippers are in ninth. They weren't too far of a playoff spot, and they made that big trade with Blake Griffin. Obviously, the Clippers are gearing towards rebuild as DeAndre Jordan is apparently up for trade as well, so that's going to be curious to see. The Pelicans losing Cousins for the rest of the season after having a monstrous previous game of recently last week. Big loss to those Pelicans, and he's a free agent at the end of this year after the Pelicans made a pretty good hefty trade to grab him. Will he resign in New Orleans? To be honest with you, I don't think so. That's just me. Maybe if he wants to go back on a one-year deal to make up for this year and play with Davis, but I can't see Cousins returning back to the Pelicans. A big loss for the Pelicans for sure going forward. Going into the Raptors, though, as we just tested to, they're in second place. You got Casey representing the Raptors in the All-Star game for the first time in franchise history. Kyle Lowry, third-time All-Star. You got DeRozan back on there now, and the boys playing together. And you know what? I'm really liking what the Raptors are doing right now. And you have DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry playing on Team Stephen Curry's team in the All-Star game this weekend. And if you want a quick recap, Team LeBron drafted LaMarcus Aldridge, Bradley Beal, DeMarcus Cousins, whom has been replaced by, as Andre Drummond is replacing DeMarcus Cousins. You got Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving playing with LeBron again. You got Kevin Love, who has also been out with injury, going to have to wait his replacement. Victor Oladipo is there. You got Kristaps Porzingis, John Wall, who is being replaced by Andre Drummond, as I said, and you got Russell Westbrook rounding out Team LeBron. And with Team Stephen Curry, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo, you got Jimmy Butler, DeMar DeRozan, Joel Embiid, Draymond Green, James Harden, Al Horford, Damian Lillard, Kyle Lowry, Klay Thompson, and Karl Anthony Towns. And one thing I want to say about this All-Star game, I know it's about the fans and whatnot, but to see all the Golden State Warrior 4 players on there, I know they're the best team in the NBA, but not to see more than one Rocket on that team is really upsetting. I feel Chris Paul could have been an option on the All-Star game, and never know, maybe he'll get the call now for Kevin Love. Who knows, even though that's on the Eastern Conference side. But there's going to be a little bit of controversy of some guys that weren't picked. But one guy that I'm excited to see in this All-Star game for real is to see how DeMar DeRozan plays in the All-Star game as he's representing the Toronto Raptors. And I am a big fan of Giannis Antetokounmpo, so I'm loving Curry's team. I think Curry's team has the advantage, especially since Team LeBron is missing DeMarcus Cousins and will be missing Kevin Love and John Wall. It seems like Team LeBron is definitely cursed as the injuries just keep piling in for Team LeBron going into the All-Star festivities. The All-Star game, attracts the fans for the skills competitions. The game hasn't been as intense. A lot of the NBA All-Star festivities has been compared to the NHL, where they're trying to get everything back into play. However, everyone tries to compare the All-Star games to where the MLB has their All-Star game and they have mean something for that and all that. But when it comes to basketball and hockey, a little bit of a different story because of risk of injury compared to baseball. But the All-Star game, are you going to be watching it? I want to know. I want to know if you're going to be excited to watch it. I'm actually kind of excited to see this format. I do take the time to enjoy all the All-Star festivities for all sports, obviously. But the skills competition, seeing them do dunks. I loved when Vince Carter did that dunk back when he was with the Raptors. You look at a lot of memorable moments, and like to watch DeMar DeRozan and Lowry in this All-Star game with Stephen Curry, and I'm pulling for Curry to get the win, especially since Team LeBron is cursed. The Raptors, though, quickly wrapping up the basketball kind of discussion, the Raptors, where they are in the Eastern Conference, a lot of people are really pointing at the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Can the Raptors beat the Cleveland Cavaliers? And goes into the playoffs, that's going to be the question mark, because if they get to the second round, the Final Four, it looks like they would probably have another matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers that you're probably going to see the Boston Celtics maybe play the 4th seed if it ends up being the Miami Heat. Maybe it's the Bucks. I'm really pulling for the Bucks to get beyond. As you know, right now the playoffs started, the Raptors will be playing the Pacers, the Sixers are playing the Celtics, and the Cavs will be playing the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks are going to finish 6th. I think the Wizards are going to drop down, the Bucks are going to go up. So you got to watch out for those guys. Final Four against Cleveland, the Raptors, maybe the third time's a charm. Dan?
Well, if you look, they're only one game behind the Celtics right now. So if the Raptors can climb into the 1st seed, I think that will go a long way. I think, the difference between the Cavaliers and the Heat's obviously probably a big gap. You say the Cavaliers, it's pretty much the Raptors against LeBron if they do have to face them in the second round. This year, if any year, like I said, the gap is closed in the East, so I do feel the Raptors do have a chance. They did pump them by 40 points a couple weeks ago. I think we were even here watching the game or at Boston Pizza when it was on TV there. So I like the Raptors' chances this year. They've been a really good team for a while, and I think with the playoff experience that they had, they're ready to take the next step. But it's going to be tough against the Celtics and Cavs. You got to beat the best to be the best. So, yeah.
For sure, and that's with the Cavaliers. That's kind of been like the Raptors' kryptonite. It seems like my way in the playoffs, and it'll be big. I think this year they could make the hump over. But now you got the All-Star game, where a lot of trades also happen in the All-Star break as well. People will get a lot of discussions, and that leads up to the trade deadline. Will the Raptors be active? To be honest, with Van Fleet playing the way he is, with the bench players that they have. And I don't think they're going to make those massive trades. They brought in Ibaka. They have the players. Their Valanciunas was even playing well so far this year. They're getting a lot of input from the guys, and everyone knows each other. This team has been together for a lot of years, and they've been a good team for a lot of years as well. So I really think that the Raptors are not going to make a deal in the trade deadline. I think they're going to stay status quo, and they're going to battle and let this all go. A team that's going to be active. You probably see Cleveland be active because now that Kevin Love's out with injury, and Isaiah Thomas has been meh for them, and he was injured. So they might bring in somebody to try to solidify so they can make another strong playoff push. The Celtics, they're built. Right now, they're built. They made a lot of their moves in the offseason. I can't see them being as active as people think as well. But the Bucks and Cavaliers, those are teams I definitely see being active, and even the Miami Heat to try to get in to those higher seeds. Well, Dane, that's kind of the basketball discussion. And on this Wednesday show, as I said, we have the In the Pocket segment. We have basketball. We're going to talk tennis. Sometimes we're going to talk golf. Sometimes we're going to talk wrestling. Maybe the odd little baseball and hockey news as well. But even though we save baseball and hockey for Thursdays, we like to touch on basketball. It's fun to chat a little basketball here and there as well because our boys, the Raptors, Team Canada itself, are looking quite impressive right now, and all the fans out there should be excited. Could this be the year? I don't want to say it. I'm a Toronto fan at heart. I know when you say something, sometimes we sound ridiculous. I'm not going to sound ridiculous right now and overassume or predict anything, but go Raps, go. Canada is supporting you, the whole entire country. Dane, we're going to jump in now, though, to Roger Federer. You got myself and you here live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. We've been here all night. And, I got to tell you, Roger Federer is something that should be enjoyed. That's a GOAT.
Yeah, it's special to see. And you got to think a couple years ago when Nadal and Djokovic were kind of going into their prime. Nadal was there kind of when Federer was at his best too, but it kind of seemed like there was a passing of the torch. And I think he went about 4 years without winning a Grand Slam, and then he came back, and last year he won one, and then he just won the one he just won now, and to have 20 Grand Slams, it's not a team sport. It's just Roger Federer, and you gotta give him credit. That guy worked his butt off to get where he is, and at the age that he has, or the age that he is, to be able to still pull off some Grand Slam titles. I think without question he has to be the best tennis player that's ever lived. I don't even with the era that he's in right now and the competition that he's had. Yeah, you're right. The goat of tennis, anyways.
Absolutely. And you got Serena Williams, who I've also said that I think is possibly the best athlete alive. And I know that's why people look at that, but all-around athlete, I look at Serena Williams. And these tennis players are extremely athletic. Tennis is a very difficult sport. You got a tennis ball coming 100-plus miles an hour at you. You got to react. There's a lot of in shape. And to win 20 Grand Slams like he has, and for Serena Williams to win as many as she has, tennis should be a sport that is definitely respected. And Federer is a popular tennis player. Obviously, he is the GOAT, and he is also a class act guy who is really involved in the game, and he's really great with reporters. He has high respect when it comes to the media and into the game of tennis. And you know what? I really think that he's not done.
Yeah, I just want to speak to, like, he just seems like he's a real good guy, you know what I mean? Like, he is really good with the media. I think he'd be that kind of guy if you went up to him, you know, he would like to even talk to you, give you an autograph. Yeah, so, no, can't say enough about Roger Federer. Obviously not the biggest tennis fan, but I do enjoy watching it every once in a while, and to see something special like he's done it's quite amazing to see.
For sure. And you know what, Dave? Moving on from tennis now, though, quickly, I'm going to jump into a little WWE topic. Scott and Ace would love to hear about this. Everyone out there has always asked me, you know, they said, Dave, I heard you were into wrestling. I heard that when you were younger. You know what? I was, absolutely. I was big into The Rock. The Rock is still one of my idols that I look up to, along with Leonardo DiCaprio, along with Vinny LeCavalier as a hockey player, believe it or not. I also looked up to Gary Roberts when he played hockey. Look up to a lot of individuals that are athletes like that. When it came to wrestling, I was always a fan of The Rock. Loved the Stone Cold Steve Austin Stunner. Loved the Undertaker. A lot of the classic wrestling I just got hooked. I just got absolutely hooked. And there was a Royal Rumble that happened just this previous Sunday with the WWE Royal Rumble. If you haven't listened or haven't watched or haven't looked on anything to the Royal Rumble, please turn this part of the segment off just briefly, as the winner is Nakamura, who is going to be going to WrestleMania. And we had somebody named Ronda Rousey come on out and point to WrestleMania in the middle of the ring wearing a Rowdy Piper-esque colored shirt. And, Ronda Rousey signed a full-time contract with the WWE. Part of the show, Nathan Inch will be doing a special character for the show eventually. Congratulations to Nathan for having a child, though. That's why he's not here tonight, and that's why he's missed a lot of shows, because he's having a child. Same with Dustin. That's why he hasn't been here. You know, when you have a child, your schedule changes. I guess we call that paternity leave. But when you have WWE the way it's been, they're trying to revamp and bring everything back. To the WWE 25 anniversary, they had a lot of old stars come back. Vince McMahon getting stunnered by Stone Cold Steve Austin. Vince McMahon is 72 years old, and he's receiving that stunner. I'm surprised he's able to still act and take that stunner like a champ. Stone Cold is still banging his beers and chugging those beers back like an absolute champ. Good on the WWE, though, to bring in Ronda Rousey. And that's where I want to bring into right now. The Royal Rumble was a success. I feel that it's trying to get back to its old, which, you know, that's entertainment, and sort of spoil this for everybody, but it's fake wrestling. It's not it's not UFC, it's not boxing by any means, but at the end of the day, this is still entertainment, and it is good entertainment, and they're trying to bring some of the old guys back with the new guys that are there and try to make it all exciting. Kudos to them. I don't think it's ever going to be like what it was before, and they shouldn't try to reach for that, but to maintain the excitement's big. And bringing in Ronda Rousey, I call that a thumbs down for Ronda Rousey. I know she's going to make some mad cash there. I know that. But to come from one of the best female fighters, if not the best female fighters to go into wrestling, I'm not saying that's an embarrassment for her, but it's definitely not the road that she probably wants to go down. But I'm sure WWE gave her a blank check and said, sign it for how much you want. And now she's going to be there, a part of WWE. Massive signing for WWE, though. Big signing. Popularity is going to increase. Her merchandise is going to fly off the shelves. And they're going to try to attract our generation. Dan, is maybe a good way to bring back the older generation, or better yet, try to get the younger generation involved that really has their eyes keened on the UFC and boxing. Can you comment on Ronda Rousey a little bit, what you think about that signing for the WWE?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously her UFC career is over. The one thing I want to say about Ronda Rousey, you know, listening to her in interviews and, you know, seeing kind of her act every once in a while, I think the big thing with the WWE is it's an entertainment business. So, you know, you have to be an athlete, but also an entertainer. And I don't really think Ronda Rousey's that entertaining. Like, you know, I don't think she's really going to be able to get the crowd going. And then, you know, and like, you got to do a lot of acting there. You know, you got to play with the crowd and stuff like that. And I don't know how good she's going to be at that. Obviously, I think she's very gifted athlete. I think in the ring she's going to be able to perform. But from what I've heard, the WWE's women's division is actually very strong right now. So for her to maybe fit in or try to rise above some of the already female wrestlers there, try to outshine them, I don't know if she's going to be able to do it. That and another thing I want to bring up, you saying that, it's WWE is not the UFC. Well, it seemed like Brock Lesnar kind of, forgot where he was the other night at the Royal Rumble, and I seen him cold cock a guy. I don't know who the guy was that he punched in the face there, but yeah, he looked like he took a knee there, an accidental knee, and then got a little mad there, and he punched the guy right in the face, and I don't think that was an accident. So yeah, it was kind of funny to see. But taking a punch from Brock Lesnar can do a lot of damage, especially when you're not expecting it. So yeah, excited for the WWE. Obviously, I used to be a big fan of it when I was younger. Hardy Boys were my two guys, especially Jeff Hardy, jumping off ladders, cages, all that, jumping in the tables. So yeah, no, I think it's a good signing for the WWE. But we'll see where it goes and see how long she's there for.
She's definitely going to get a nice little paycheck. And you know what? You couldn't pay me enough money to take a punch in the face from Brock Lesnar. And the only thing I want to get in here before we wrap up the show here, Dane, a great show, obviously, as we had In the Pocket. We had basketball talk here, we had wrestling talk, we had all that. I want to get to one more part of this, and also a little brief point about baseball before we go into break, actually, as well. Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight. As we know, Floyd won that fight against Conor McGregor. Floyd released a tape on social media this week of him walking in a UFC rink and walking around, putting up his fists, and then walking out. Basically calling out Conor McGregor in a UFC fight. I've said this a lot. I said in boxing, Floyd will beat Conor. Conor against Floyd in UFC, that is a complete different ballgame. Conor's younger than Floyd as well. And I'm sorry, in a match where you can actually have no boxing gloves on and you can kick and do things, I think Floyd's going into territory that he should not be going into. To be the best boxer right now of all time in terms of being undefeated, I think hanging up the gloves and moving on, he's already proved his point. It's not a bad thing for him to hang up the gloves and not do a UFC match against Conor. I know the money, maybe that's what he wants more of, but I don't think he needs that much more money, especially after that previous fight against Conor. I think he's going to be going in foreign territory if he fights Conor McGregor or anybody in the UFC ring. I think he's going to get shellacked. And if I'm wrong, I don't know if that's not professional of me to say, but I worry for Floyd in this match. I feel Conor is going to show him who's boss when it comes to UFC, just like Floyd showed him who's boss, even though Conor lasted more rounds than I thought he would against Floyd. I just feel when it comes to a submission, when it comes to speed, kicking, Conor's got that edge.
Yeah, I think the one thing you're going to look at is, first of all, Conor lost, he got tired after a couple of rounds when he was boxing. But yeah, different ring, different rules, different everything. Like you said, does Money Mayweather really need more money? He probably spends a lot of money at the end of the day too, so... last thing I heard, I haven't been following it too much, but I heard Conor McGregor was very ill. He contracted like a flu virus or something, and Dana White was mentioning that he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to even return back to the UFC. So I'm not sure where that really stands at this point. But yeah, obviously you would think Conor McGregor would be the favorite in the octagon there. That being said, can Floyd Mayweather, run around the ring for a couple rounds and tire him out again like he did before in the boxing match? We'll see, but I kind of would imagine that McGregor will try to throw him down on the ground and, submit him or whatever. I know he's more of a brawler kind of guy, but yeah, another $300 million paycheck. Why not? I'd go in an octagon for that much money, fight anybody. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I think, they're going to start doing all the drama stuff and all the, try to get into the media and get everybody excited for it again and, build it up for a year or whatever. And I don't know really why Floyd needs to do this and doesn't really have to prove anything. I can't imagine he's broke, but who knows? Like I said, he probably spends a lot of money when he makes a lot of money. So, yeah, no, I'll probably check it out if it does happen.
I think even I would consider going in the ring against Floyd Mayweather. That's no disrespect. I think it's just the inexperience in the UFC is completely different than boxing. Take it from someone who, I've been doing boxing training well over for 2 years, and I can tell you that I've fought before and all that, even with my trainer, and when you do grappling and submissions as per workouts, and then you do boxing, it's complete different muscles that are used, complete different mindsets, everything. When you're boxing, people say you're boxing yourself. Even though you're boxing somebody, it's mental. Where UFC is too, but UFC is not just mental, it's actual physicality. You got to be not just mental in terms of knowing what you're doing, you just got to be mental to be aware of your surroundings and how to get out of certain holds and everything. But Floyd Mayweather is going to need a lot of training. Not saying I can doubt him, but I feel like the agent is in his corner for it, and at the end of the day, Conor McGregor is much more experienced in that, as just like Floyd was experienced in boxing. So moving on from that quickly, I said I would touch on baseball, and I will. The Blue Jays offseason. Curtis Granderson, 37 years old, coming to the Toronto Blue Jays. Randall Krychuk from the St. Louis Cardinals. Just to name a few transactions on behalf of the Blue Jays, trying to be a team that's contending against the likes of the New York Yankees, who obviously stacked up and massively stacked up this offseason. You got the Boston Red Sox that are looking well as well, and Baltimore Orioles. Can't forget about Baltimore. Baltimore is a team that is always a nitty-gritty team. You got a lot of teams out there on the side of the AL that's pretty competitive. And right now, I don't grade the Blue Jays offseason as an A. I grade it as a C+. I like the addition of Randall Krychuk. That's nice. I think that's a nice addition. You know him better in terms of being a St. Louis Cardinals fan. Curtis Granderson. If this was a signing 5 years ago, I'd be doing jumping jacks. Not doubting him. I know Curtis Granderson can still hit the ball pretty well, and he's a good fielder and a great leader. And obviously you got JD. You're going to have Tulowitzki. Hopefully that's healthy. And Morales. You have Smoke, who we hope has a comeback season like he did, and not like another season like he had last year. You hope Devin Travis is healthy. And they also Almides Diaz from St. Louis, and they got Yorganis Solarte from the Padres. They got some nice moves. Don't give them a lot of filler-ins. They can be a wild card team, in my opinion. I don't see them as a division-winning team. A wild card team is definitely a possibility. But I feel like with the likes of Lorenzo Cain, even though he's a center fielder, and why do I say that? I think Kevin Pillar is expendable. His defense is irreplaceable, but his bat is. His bat is not no Lorenzo Cain. Lorenzo Cain bats 300 plus a year, and his fielding's over 85%. I'll take that. Pillar would be attractive to a lot of teams. I feel that the Blue Jays still have some stuff they got to get done, and that bullpen still has to get addressed. The starting pitching, you got Sanchez, you got Stroman, you got Happ in there, you got Estrada. I like what they have for a starting rotation. I actually don't mind it. I feel like it's a good rotation. But when it comes to the bullpen, that's a big question mark. And Lorenzo Cain still being out there, I feel like that's a very serviceable option. And I think if you maybe go with a Granderson, Cain, and Krychuk, or you go with a Cain, Pierce, Krychuk, I think that's a decent outfield. Your infield is pretty well. You got Donaldson, you got Smoke, you got Tulowitzki, you got Diaz, who is well defensively, Devin Travis, who is not a bad leadoff, but Lorenzo Cain would be better. I keep leaning towards Lorenzo Cain because I feel like he's the best option for the Jays, and then they'd be a certainty for a wild card team. Now, we only got a minute or two here before we wrap up the show here, Dane, and I'll tell you, I don't grade their offseason to be that impressive. I think it's good they haven't traded Donaldson, though, but I think after this year, if they feel like they're going to win this year, if they do, I hope they do. I'm not saying they're not a playoff team because they are. They're not a division-winning team, though. I feel like this offseason could still be better.
Yeah, we're back to normal with the Red Sox and Yankees, running the AL East there. The Yankees did have a bit of rebuilding there, but bought the second half, the second half of their team this season with all the trades and signings that they did. I think the biggest thing is going to be, where the Blue Jays at mid-season. I think it's going to be a really telling tale as what they're going to do leading up into the next offseason. You got to look at, the two big prospects that we have, top 10 in baseball. I think, if we kind of aren't, in the playoff race or maybe too far out of it to really try to, to make it worth to make another move at the deadline to kind of try to put us over the top, I kind of see the Blue Jays, maybe trading Donaldson at the deadline. And not even for prospects, try to get a young position player. But I think, the Jays are in a situation where they can have a short transition or a short rebuild where they can come back and, be competitive. They don't have to blow up the whole roster. I think they still have some really young guys on their squad right now. So yeah, we'll see. I don't see them making the playoffs this year, not with the division that they're in, and you got to look at just some other teams that are in the American division. So Houston, the defending World Series champs, the Angels. It's I see them, probably coming about third or fourth in the AL East this year, and I think they're probably going to try to flip some guys out But like I said, I don't think it's going to be like a 5-year rebuild. I think, it should be about 2 years. And if they can, hold on to Sanchez and Stroman and those guys and keep that starting rotation real good, I think, we can be right back in the mix. But, I don't foresee us, being World Series contenders at all this year. So,
like I said, I was a wild card finish. You don't see them as a playoff finish. What do you guys think out there as the listeners? I would tell you that if they aren't in a position when it comes to deadline time, I feel like it's going to be unloading time at the deadline. And I know there's one team in particular that's really interested in Josh Donaldson. It's called the St. Louis Cardinals that are extremely interested in him.
Well, and, two of the best trading partners in all the MLB, all the trades that the Cardinals and Jays have had over the last couple of years. So, I could see, there's obviously a relationship with both those teams, in the upstairs office. So it's definitely a possibility. So
definitely don't want him to play in the AL if you're going to trade him. I think trying to move him to the NL would most definitely be wise. I think other names, if they're out of it by the deadline, would be J.A. Happ and Marco Estrada, being names that they could potentially move at the deadline as well. And potentially, and I mean this potentially, maybe even Justin Smoke, because he has a cap-friendly contract as well. You got Bo Bichette coming up. You got Vlad Guerrero. You got Rowdy Tellez down in AAA as well. So they got some good prospects coming up. But Vlad and Bo being the top 10 prospects in baseball. And I'm pumped to see Vlad come up to the Jays pretty darn soon. Dane, we're going to wrap up everything here from Sportscenter Bar and Grill. It's been yours truly, Dave McCaig, alongside Dane Hantro. And you know what? We got a big show tomorrow night. And why do we have a big show? Very simple. We have somebody named Paul Maurice coming by the show tomorrow. If you don't know who that is, well, that is the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets in the National Hockey League. Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario native. Came by to the Game Sports Show for an interview. And we also have Joe Bowen making another addition to an interview for the Game Sports Show. So you don't want to miss those two interviews with myself, Dane, and Justin live from Boston Pizza. We're going to be there at 9:30, and we'll be there till 10:30. We'll also announce the winner of the trivia for the prize, and we're also going to make another trivia question to give away another prize next week. And we've obviously got to thank Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the beautiful Alicia White. We got to thank Scott Nason, the usual board operator. Got to thank the salon, Discover the Canvas, the Superior Pro Shop, and North Shore Sports and Auto, then obviously Pingator Cleaners and the Wicked Sister in Sioux, Michigan. Once again, to all you out there, thanks for listening. It's been a great show, Dane, as always. Thanks for coming on by, and tomorrow, be well rested.
I'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
And, hey, you're going to hear from our sponsors before everything all wraps up here on the Game Sports Show. Hope you all out there have a good night.